What's up, Earthlings, Galactics, Angels, and all you other ones that we're not really sure about yet? Just kidding. Kinda. Here is our chart for the day. I know I've been absent a little bit. My crew has had a lot going on. Really still in this final cleanup from Venus coming through Scorpio. And the past few days have been somewhat of a roller coaster with us emotionally. Not too bad. Not anything like 2018, I promise you that. But still seeing through illusions. We're still pulling each other out. And when I say pulling each other out, we're positioned all over the world. 12 of us, and especially within the United States. And a lot of the work that we have been doing energetically to clear atmospheric energy and low density energy, kind of like the last of this Mason underground energetics has been up north at the top of the United States, connected into Canada. So there's been a lot of attention at further north energetically. Today is October 6th. And I'm reminding everybody about these added days in October. You know, we had a time code that came in last night, and I haven't had a time code come in quite some time. Probably, at least a month or so ago. And I had a time code come in, and it took us back to 58, 68, 69. With special emphasis on October 5th, 4th, and 9th. So when we went looking at these years, our minds were blown. Mainly, most of these dates had some type of attack or some type of, especially in 68 and 69, large rallies that were taking place to protest against the takeover that was happening then. And then on those correlating days, at the same day as these events that were happening, were opening of new broadcast stations in certain Masonic cities. And making those links into the Wi-Fi and, what we call Wi-Fi now, but, back then it was broadcasting. And just more seeing how these large events that were staged or otherwise, or stopped or energetically charged, and how those were overlaid in 1968, 1969 for sure, the ones we looked at. And how then they were started in those times, which was just telling us and reminding us that human energy is how things are broadcast. Remember that when you're on one side of a screen, what you're doing is projecting your DNA to that screen, and it's bouncing off. Now, in my head just now, I just saw Batman and the Riddler, where he put that TV suction cup on his head. I'm telling you, they were telling us what they were doing then, right? So this same thing with glass and even glasses, and the films and things that are in glass and glasses and screens especially are like pixel monitors. I mean, it sucks your energy in, especially if you, no matter it does, okay, but especially if you are activated because those energy particles just come straight to the television. If anybody knows anything else on this and has been doing any research on like the Nielsen and all these things that they were tracking, because that's been on our radar, then I'd love to know about it. Right now, we've got a Libra party, and October 6th. Now, October 6th, I don't know if you're aware of this, but in Egypt, there is a town called the 6th of October. The whole town. It's positioned right over where on Google Earth I can find the heart of Earth. And right over where the mummies and these... And the pyramids aren't over there. They're a little bit further over towards the Nile. But those pyramids and all those systems that are underneath make that whole top part of Egypt barren. Another word that's been coming up in our world, barren. Bees. Names that start with the B. So, if you go look on Google Earth at the city of 6th October, it looks like a giant machine from the air. And it has a lot to do with mind control of the mummies and the energetics that were coming from Egypt and Africa and then disseminated east and west and then above and below. But the 6th of October has always been, in my mind, some type of like mind control day. Now, those things are changing now because we're aware of them. When I looked up the switch over from the calendars, October 9th becomes September 26th. So when we switched from Julian to Gregorian, or whichever way it is, I don't even know, the September 26th, then all of a sudden became October 9th. You know, now we know too, October in a whole was made. Okay? And then we wonder, well, how is that made? How is days added? Well, I'm not only telling you that, I'm telling you months were added, because our calendar in our monthly system did line up with moon cycles. So you had moon cycles that corresponded with the months that we had. And over the past 4 years of walking through this and all the research and things that we found and things that we were shown in history, is that June and July were made. So July. So these months were made in order to mimic January, and there's a cycle there that then with those J names would take you back to January, where in the winter, right? Like from the ants, we're all ants down here, and we all make energy together in a cycle, moving through seasonal progressions, and energetics from the human collective have to take form. You know, it's like a bunch of bees in a honeycomb. Making a honeycomb. Bees in a hive. You can't just throw the bees in there and go, give me honey, right? There's a cycle and a progression that in stages that happen before the honey will appear. And you can think of months on the calendar, especially from January, where we just came out of December. We have a new year. It's a reset. And then February, you're still getting your feet under you. It's like, okay, you reported for duty. You know, February now, we've got an idea of what buildings we're supposed to go to. Everybody's starting to kind of get used to each other. Things are forming, right? Then we have March, which is exactly what that is. Where now the year started. We're in the third month, so things are starting to culminate. We're marching together. We're working together. Then April it starts moving into more of the hotter months. So now the energy that we made brought rain for planting, right? And then you have May where it's a big culmination point where it's like, okay, what has the army done? And then what? June, July? Everybody take a vacation? See what I'm saying? And the cycles, and I've known this for the past couple of years, because June and July, since we have them in our calendar, are by far the most important months to get as much work as you can out. But in our corporate old system, it was the months that everybody, then the kids are out of school. Now you want to go do vacations. You want to spend a lot of money. You want to move around. But in actual progression and cycles of manifestation of an overall earth pattern with a bunch of humans on it, June and July are the months where you should be working your butt off. Okay. And then you get to August. Now, I mean, this is dealing with Augustus Caesar, so it's almost like August was the old October when things were all done. Then August would have been like the old October, because in these this time October is where a lot of this culminates, because we've got these extra couple of months. So I didn't mean to confuse y'all. But October has everything to do with the 13th families and the switching of the calendars and specific days recognized for kind of, I don't know if you want to say raw gods or Greek god. They're culmination points, and they were assigned energetics, and they were made. So it was almost like in October, everything was truing up for the accountant, right? Which is what's happening right now. We've got all this energy in Libra, and it's like the realm is being trued up energetically. It's not even like, it is. That's what's happening energetically. So if you will, it's like the accountant of the realm sitting there going, okay, we'll give you this and we'll take this. We'll give you this breadcrumb and we'll take the bakery. We'll give you this and we'll take this, right? And that really is what's going on right now. But in our old, I don't even know how old, don't ask me, because I don't know when everything moved and switched. I just know that there was only 10 months. And in a lot of ways, October would have been the new December. If that makes any sense. And then I know that over time, then even Thanksgiving in November really is more around the true Yahshua's birthday, whatever what Christmas would be called, and the actual feasts and those types of events around the Thanksgiving timeline. If we just blah the months, and it was just cycles, and each cycle was 30 days, and then we had a cycle building on a cycle, right? Thanksgiving would be what we would call Christmas as far as an energetic day. And what does the world do on this day? Eats a whole lot and watches a whole lot of football, for the most part. When in actuality, as spiritual beings on this planet, it's more of the time we should be fasting and actually doing what we do at Christmas. Okay? So I don't know why that all came out, but back to October in the chart. all of our Libra points now are on the scale and above. So we've got this 4 planet. So you've got your sun, who you are, is now on the scale of Ma'at, if you will, connect to, and it's on the left scale. Now it's moving into balance point at 14 degrees. Then right on the other side, we've got Hercules at 16. So it makes a drop and then goes up and down. So it's going to make a drop into the body, really, the collective body. So it's going to go down in frequency and then up at the same time to Boots constellation and Spica. Then it'll hit Izar at 27 degrees, which Mercury has gone up to the orb of, and then now gone back to Spica. So right now we're having a balancing and accounting of things. And this is happening with the masses, and it's also happening within self. So taking account of the energetics around you, who's around you, what are you building, what are you creating, what interference, what is the interference, figuring out these little things around you that are or have been in the past somehow contributing to an unconscious state, even because of the now moment that we're in. So realizing what energetic cages, connections, wiring was in your life and in your field, and then realizing what you need to do to subsidize those and walk out. So this channeling's going very strange. Anyway, Venus at 29 degrees. Go Venus, go! Go Venus, go! Holy macaroni. If I could draw a unicorn freaking on a unicorn, whatever that thing's called on their head, on a scorpion, it'd be about right. Because I feel like that's what's going to happen this season with all this skull and bones mess that went down, that we watched live on our galactic TV, didn't we? At 29 degrees, we're at the end of the wand, of the magician's wand. Boom! Here it is. All the technology going down the other day, not surprised. Freaking happy about it. Now there's if everything went down, then there was some type of reset that happened. We talked about the fact that some keys and things were changed on the way down from Spica, and that technology might be going out, right? So even if it was down for a second, then that means that some type of reset happened within those gates. Now, Venus being at 29 degrees, right? Was that a reset that was staged, or did it naturally happen? I don't know. Was it shut down for nefarious reasons, or was it just shut down because it was Bank of America, Southwest Airlines, and then all the Disney Channel is what I'll call them, the social Disney Channel. I don't know. We'll see, right? But pure source energy and any type of massive event within technology, I don't know. It wouldn't come up that quick. So with Venus being right there at 29 degrees, it tells me that they were up to something, attempting to reset. Even attempting for us to think maybe that it was reset by the collective, to be honest. And I'm pulling this in right this second because I haven't even thought about this. But no matter what, when they made a move, and when they make a move, the collective always knows, and we always come out ahead because there's enough of us awake in these particular areas that we know what's up. So no matter if it was shut down for any reason, it was taken advantage of from the collective on that reset, is what I'm saying. So no matter what the intention was from that side, that reset was in our favor. So we'll see as Venus goes into Sagittarius tomorrow, which it's my birthday, according to what I've been told about the story of my life. The sun going into Sagittarius is really Venus is really gonna pull us up into a higher, less emotional perspective, the whole collective, because Venus is now going into more of a galactic consciousness, but more of an Egyptian consciousness. And so all of you that have any links into Egypt, any DNA links into the Essenes, a lot of Cancer energy, your family came from raw consciousness. I mean, Giza, freaking blah, blah, blah. And Taurus is going to be there at 7 degrees. So be interested 9 degrees starts at 7. It'll be interesting to see what happens when Venus rolls through Antares with her flag and her new energy that lightning bolts can't stick to. But first we have Ophiuchus 1, and Ophiuchus 1 is Ma'at. It's the consciousness of Ma'at. It's basically the consciousness of the pharaohs. So it's ancient consciousness of Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus is way out in space. It's at 27 degrees of Sagittarius is the galactic center. So, which is just a void space going straight out into way out. And this is what we had to blow out to in order to course correct. Now, this was always a cycle of time that always happened every 26,000 years. That Ophiuchus would realign with the collective bubble in the evolutionary tree, and there would be 1,000-year reset for us all to figure out where we made mistakes before. This is the lion lay with the lamb. This is everything that all of the ancient texts and books talk about as far as Christ consciousness. But it goes back to beginnings of time, right? Where the animals are not attacking. We could put that into humans now. But anyway, the cycles of time were always set up for that, to make that alignment and to give us a break out of Orion grids. Well, this event was 582 to 586 years overdue, because the planet was being held down by Orion, which happens to be Microsoft Bill Gates' project, right? It's what he's got his stuff named. So, if you're still using a computer system, and if you're still using a PC, are you in Word? Are you in Microsoft? I'd take a different look at it and see what you can do. Now, I know the other ones, Apple and all the other ones, got their own issues. However, they're not gating your brain and trying to vaccinate you to hold you in a gate. And it is what it does. It is what it does, and it energetically holds you in certain alignments with Orion, which is fencing. You can call it fencing. Fencing of consciousness to control is the best way to put it. But it's also, Orion is right now what the collective has been reprogramming is Bellatrix, which is at 20 degrees Gemini. And this is the overall human program down here on Earth, that we decide how we barter, how we trade money, how we do things, because that has to be pretty much collectively, in some sense, decided and in a natural program, right? So that we can live down here all together, and we know what things are called, and we know certain interactions. Well, this is what's all changing. And from the collective standpoint, but more so from an Egyptian Ophiuchus standpoint of balance. Because we're talking about Ma'at. We ain't talking about body by or rumpy rump. Like, F them. This is the ancients. This is overall atmospheric change and a human evolution and a different energy of bubbles, and it's a bunch of humans knowing that Earth is a human energy machine and we're driving it. So what I've been shown and I'm really excited about is that a lot of us over the past 3 years that have had to take these leadership roles, had to play different characters, like all the archangels were so involved in one-on-one with dealing with governmental stuff, as well as even clearing energies and entities and those type things. Over the past week, we've got to sit down and release a lot of that responsibility onto the next wave, and seeing others within the crew, even on YouTube, the different channelings and messages and information and actions that I've seen so many new beings take, knowing that they're getting the information now. It's not all up to us. So there's a little struggle within self on that as well. If you tend to be power hungry or want to keep that control, which is what we're feeling in the masculine. So Venus is making this trine over to Neptune. That's the subconscious of the collective, still in that hybridized space station, cleaning it up. And Pluto is your soul contracts right there at Lyra 3. So it's like your future soul contracts too. You would call it future, but it doesn't matter. Like it's whatever soul contracts you have made in your body, right? And your energetic pattern and what you have cleaned in the past 7 years, so that timelines that you are not happy about might not stick. It just depends on when it's projected down here, when Pluto goes direct and Saturn goes direct, if you're going to feel it and if you're going to interact with it. Because no matter, it's going to project around you. Ironically, what I've been seeing is that it's hitting people around me and not me, which also has made me feel like I'm not moving, which is another weird thing to deal with within self. Like even things that are happening to other people, you're like, oh shit, that looks like the program that I just cleared or walked or knew my ancestors took that, and now it's happening to my neighbor. It's not happening to me. Thank God it's not happening to me, but I'm just sitting here, nothing's happening to me, right? We're in this crazy holding pattern right now, and it is because the whole realm's in accounting, what we'd call accounting. Everybody's getting their divvy. The poker chips, the game's over. Poker chips are having to be scattered out. How many people bought into the poker game? Then how many people won? And right, we're the votes being tallied, people. We know that could take a minute, right? Well, this is from the realm. So and the quincunxes that are going straight over to Uranus from Mars and the Sun. So we're also feeling intense pressure from the divine masculine, and also what I would call more Antarian reptilian consciousnesses. The messages that a lot of us are getting from divine masculine, and this is for those of us too that have been in the twin program. Now we know what the hell it was, and most of us were effed over in some way because of the interference of the twin program, because the twin program, per German Nazi fuckity fuck, was tampered with. But always the twin program is an original thing. If you have twin energy, then you're bound, like there's an etheric twin of yours that's on the other side. It's an etheric body from Capricorn to Cancer. Some of you had ancestral karma like me, and we were bound together within ritual from Viking times and Irish times and that type thing, in this ancestral karma, to be bound to another being, to hold the consciousness of Earth, especially within the royal lines, if you're linked to mummies, those types of things. So not everybody has a pure etheric twin, all right? And if you don't find yourself, you should find yourself lucky, to be honest, because it is by far the main thing that was tampered with down here, because so much was set on this accounting as to whether or not the twins made it through, if they were together, the power that both twins are given within the collective. And so what a lot of us feminines that have gone through this program and are to the point where, forget this, we have this lingering feeling that they're around, they're talking to us, we're hearing them, yada, 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 yada. We're hearing it in music. We're seeing their name over and over again. They're popping up on whatever. And this has been a theme this week. And it's because this masculine energy is being weighed. We know that the masculine is also a little slower. We know that they're also more ego, which is what has to die in order to make it up to these higher realms, even if it's for a minute. All of us know that we've gone through many stages of ego death to realize as a collective how we work together, and to realize our natural abilities and powers, because money is not made the way we thought it was within any circumstance. And I'll tell you this, masculines, if you're waiting to contact a being that you know is your other half, you've seen dreams of us, you know who we are, and you're waiting for some reason until you have money, until you're this and this, until you're this and this and this, just fucking stop. Because in the new energy, there's no way to get all of that without going into some type of rando karmic relationship with sexual energy, or getting under some contract that's going to get you into even more trouble without your feminine. If you have an ascended feminine, you better run your ass to her right the hell now, bow on your knees, kiss her feet, and tell her your situation, and watch what happens. The amount of arrogance on this planet, when it deals with money and fame and power, is absolutely sickening, and it's all lopsided and backwards, because none of your power, none of your fame, none of your money is coming from any of the paternal organizations that you hang out in. It ain't where it's coming from. And you know it. Which is why all in the old days you were visiting the different horror houses and things like that. Right, Belichick? Those at the top know where the energy comes from. You better bet your ass. And it's your feminine. And the more that you sell your soul, the more you separate from your feminine. And then you're going to end up being miserable as hell, no matter, and alone. Because it's Egyptian consciousness. You be thinking all wrong. What's nuts is that these young kids, these young boys, 20-something, they know. All of us women that are 40, 50, do you know how many 20-something men we turn down? It's insane. Because they came fresher from source. They know where the power is. They know where the money is. And they're looking at us going, where's your man? Oh, well, he's having to make a lot of money to get a house before he'll come to me. That's fucking stupid. Get it right. But that is what we're dealing with. And all these planets are going to go more into Sagittarius. And these conversations are going to get deeper and deeper because energy is made. It's made by yourself in groups. That energy is then put together, assigned, intended, and then that's how money's made. That's how things are made. It isn't about a paycheck. It isn't about a contract. Because where's that source of energy coming from? If you're working for somebody, where's that energy coming from? You're going to tell me, oh, well, I sell this, and so people buy this, and then they pay this per month, and then, no. I'm going to end this with this. This was a strange channeling.